We got a sign! Oh my god, another purple. Wow. I don't get MVP this time? Fourth of Vernick, or will it be something else? Oh! Oh! Oh, the scythe! No way, bro! Well then. Jar of Dreams. And some cannonballs. That was KC 511. Not exactly what I was looking for, but hey, that's pretty cool. The drop rate for the Jar of Dreams is a 1 in 4,000. We've spent quite a bit of time sailing the sea, so much so that we actually hit 99 sailing, and we also caught a bunch of whole new fish, which I will get into in a second here, but it's time to return to the land and get on with some of these grinds that we've had for quite some time now. One of those grinds is Phosani's Nightmare. Let's open up the collection log here and see where we're at in terms of KC. So we're at 456 KC actually. We have ourselves the mace, which is actually in our inventory. We have the Inquisitor's top, which we're wearing, and we have a Nightmare staff and a Harmonized orb, which I actually fashionscaped that a lot. Let's just ignore the whole 4 parasitic eggs. That's not really relevant right now. We don't have the pet. But yeah, we still want full Inquisitors. We're missing the helmet and the skirt. And obviously the Volatile Orb and Eldritch Orb. The Eldritch in particular would be very nice for us. The Volatile's more of a PvP one. And if we can get our hands on 2 more Nightmare staves, that would be great, but not needed. But it would be a great quality of life. Okay. Well, let's take a look at our inventory here. The inventory setup is mostly the same as it's always been. You know, full mage switch, full melee armor on. No Void Waker, so we have the Dragon Claws. But to supplement the Dragon Claws, just make them a little bit more accurate because they are pretty inaccurate at Phosani's. We're going to be bringing the Bellator ring as well. We got the Blowpipe to deal with the, not the Husk, but the Sleepwalkers. Goblin Paint Cannon. Now in the past I've been hunting for a ham joint, but a Goblin Paint Cannon should do the trick as well. We unfortunately still don't have a ham joint. And the Elder Moss should deal with the parasites. Now this is where the ham joint would be better, because I think the ham joint could serve the purposes of both the Goblin Paint Cannon and the Elder Mob, but I'm not too sure on that. Got our Saturated Heart, and the big difference here I mentioned earlier is that we swapped out our Anglerfish for Bluefin. Bluefin heal the same amount as Anglerfish, 22 HP, but they also give you 5 prayer. Now the difference with Bluefin though is that it's not going to overheal me, so yeah, we'll be at 99 health at the most. The rest of the inventory is the same. We're on Arceus, we're going to be running Thralls, Death Charge, and whatnot. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see if we can get any drops. I don't know if we're going to make it to this number, but it'd be nice to round off on 1,000 Phosani's Nightmare KC and see what kind of items we'll have then. Okay, so first time PVMing in any capacity in like 2 weeks. Phosani's is probably not the greatest first boss to return to, but we'll see what happens. First KC back. Didn't die, so that's good. Some gold ore. We're currently just a few KCs in here. The last one I managed to get 7 Snapdragon Seeds. We're 340k. Not bad, I suppose. But in the background, while we're working on Phosani's, we are also looking to get 99 sailing on the normal account. That's right, I actually did 99 sailing on the Ironman first, and now we're just looking to passively, or you know, just AFK in the background, get 99 sailing through salvaging and sailing this way. It's not the most engaging content, obviously, which is why I'm doing this in the background. Whereas on the Ironman, I did do a little bit of everything to get to 99 sailing. Well, unfortunately, it didn't take long before my first plank back at Phosani's Nightmare. These are inevitable. I feel like, you know, any type of distraction, you blink at the wrong time and you die at Phosani's. It just is what it is. In this case, you know, I had someone ringing my front door and yeah, I just got distracted and planked. Luckily, a death at Phosani's Nightmare only cost 60k GP, and at some point they made the change to where if you did die, you ended up right out here, so you didn't have to run back over here. Just came out of KC 467, which marks the 12th this session. I think the best comparison for those people that haven't done Phosani's Nightmare before is that it's pretty much like doing a Corrupted Gauntlet. I would say that you can get pretty similar KCs per hour. Actually, probably maybe a little bit more Phosani's Nightmare KCs an hour, realistically. But with that said, though, when it comes to Corrupted Gauntlet, you have the prep phase where it's very, very reclined, honestly, right? Like, especially once you have some practice, the prep phase for Corrupted Gauntlet is not a big deal, and the prep phase is probably about like 2 to 3 minutes, up to 50% of the time you're actually in the Corrupted Gauntlet. Now, when it comes to Phosani's Nightmare, though, I think it's fair to say, somewhat at least, that you're pretty much fighting Hunlif the entire time. So it's like a 6-minute duration where you always have to stay locked in, move your character around, make sure you're hitting the right prayers, and being in the right gear. So it's actually quite a lot. I'd say it's definitely one of the hardest things solo content wise in the game, actually, excluding, Inferno, Coliseum, and those things. But for like a regular boss, this is probably among the harder ones. And as such, I know I said in the beginning, like the magic number for 1K would be really nice, but I don't think we're going to be getting that anytime soon. I think a more realistic thing is to check back in a week and see what kind of KC we can get to. Maybe like 600s, if we're really locked in. But I can't see myself being locked in here for the next 550 KC or so without doing anything else. In the interest of adding just a little bit more food to account for mistakes I'm making, I'm going to drop the Bellator ring and just add an extra bluefin fish. So that's plus 22 health and 5 prayer. Honestly, the Bellator ring was barely making a difference anyways, and I just kind of have to live with the fact that I don't have a Void Waker right now. Trust me, I've tried. Taking a step away from Phosani's Nightmare to do some Tob could always use a little bit of GP, and we're obviously working towards the 2K total cape. Now, just like I said at Phosani's Nightmare, it's been a long, long time since I did any PVM content, so hopefully this goes well. Alright, first Tob back. Didn't rag the team. Can we get a purple? No welcome back gift from Verzik, unfortunately. We got a purple! Oh my god, it's a hose in purple! Imagine sight? Imagine the sight? Oh, I got baited. I thought it was it. I thought it was a sight. The Tob session is over. Just the one purple, but a Sang kit for the first time for an Ironman, so I don't know what the split's gonna be. The Sang staff these days is probably not that much, but GP is GP, we'll take it. I've still been gaining a fair bit of sailing EXP post 99. Now I've mostly been trawling to keep up with my new food sources, but I've also been going back to the salvage spots just because it's easy AFK EXP, and I get a little bit of GP while I'm here, for little to no effort. But we will be returning to Phosani's Nightmare shortly, continuing the grind and see if we can get ourselves a drop. It's an entirely new day, but it's back to Phosani's Nightmare for me. This doesn't seem like a suitable place to take a pet. I got my boy Soup with me, so I gotta put him away real quick. Alright, first KC of the day. Let's see what we're gonna get. Hey, a classic zero. Average. Wait, back-to-back zeros. Average. Unfortunate. Oh yeah, I said earlier, the claws are very inaccurate, and there you go. What are we getting? Zamorak Brews. I don't think I have any use for these, but I'm gonna pick them up anyways. Little update on the Phosani's oh my, I just took a 70. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to talk in the middle of a KC, but I was just gonna say things have actually been going okay so far today. And never mind. I actually turned off game sounds because the sounds at Phosani's Nightmare are actually quite loud, and over a long period of time it gets quite annoying, even though that the sound effects at Phosani's are actually quite effective and useful for doing the fight. But yeah, I was gonna say it was going quite well, but oh, there's our first death of the second day here. I unfortunately just had a situation where the husk spawned on me as I phased it, meaning 4 sleepwalkers were coming out, and there was nothing I could do. I just had to TP out, unfortunately. Honestly, that's just unlucky timing, I think. I don't know if there's really a way to avoid it unless you purposely stall out your DPS, but sometimes you just do a lot of damage and then the timing is just off, which is unfortunate. Anyways, I'm well over 400 Phosani's KC now, so it's not like this is new to me. In fact, I'm closer to 500 than 400. But every time I come back to Phosani's, I'm reminded of how, I don't know if tedious is the right word, but it's a lot of intensiveness here, if that's the right word too. I don't know, I'm just kind of searching for words here. It's a lot of focus required. The intensity is really high at Phosani's, and I can never do too many at once. For example, today I've only been like 5-6 KC in, and I'm feeling kind of drained from it already. If there are any Ironmen out there, or actually just anybody that has done like thousands of Phosani's KC, do let me know how you managed to do it and how long of a grind it really was for you, because yeah, each KC feels very exhausting right now to me. Wow, another parasitic egg. I think these are like 1 in 200 or something, and if we just take a look at our nightmare log here, that is our 5th one in 492. I think they're 1 in 200. I could be mistaken, but I'm definitely very lucky on the eggs. Not that they do anything. I don't even have the pet right now. Parasitic egg aside, you can see that I've swapped over to using the Inquisitor's mace. Now, the bulk of my KC so far, I have been using the scythe, but I decided to use the Inquisitor's mace for the last couple of KCs, mostly just out of sheer laziness. That way I don't have to switch to the Goblin Paint Cannon or the Elder Maul. The mace, barring that you have enough melee armor on, you can one-shot everything from the husk to the parasites and whatnot. So yeah, and it's only about 0.1 DPS worse than the scythe in this setup, so I guess it's better for when you're just feeling lazy or when I'm feeling lazy. And I guess I save a little bit on scythe charges, so that's pretty nice. But prior to this Inquisitor's Mace Phosani session, I did some Tob, and well, I'll just show you. We got a sign! We got a sign! We are currently a few days in now, I think day number 3 to be precise, and a few KCs in today, and things are going much better, but actually this time, unlike last time when I was trying to explain this and I just planked, but I do think switching to the Inquisitor's Mace has made things a little bit more lax. I don't have to click as many things in my inventory, just simplifies it, and I've also just been trying to play it safe. I think in the back of my mind in the past, I've always been trying to like go fast, and that's where mistakes are bound to happen. But I mean, a couple of seconds slower at the cost of a more consistent KC completion, I think we will be taking that. So knock on wood, I'm going to continue this trend here. I am working towards 500 total KC now. We should be able to hit that later today. Here we go, a pretty nice milestone coming up. This is going to be KC 500. Unfortunately, our claws just hit a 1, but what else is new? They're very inaccurate here. Second spec is a little bit better. Couple more hits here with the Inquisitor's Mace. Maybe one more. There we have it. 500 Phosani's Nightmare KC. What are we going to get? 66 magic logs. Logging into a brand new day now, and I'm sailing back to the shores. What I like to do when I start the session or end the session, just depending on what I feel like, something nice and easy to do, AFK to do, is some shipwreck salvaging. So last night before I got off, I AFK'd a little bit here, and actually I'm still AFK in the background on the main account, trying to get that account back to maxed 99 sailing. But yeah, merchant salvaging, really good for GP, and also ironwood repair kits for whenever I want to do any sailing combat. But we're going to head back to shore. I'm going to do a farming contract, a birdhouse run, and then we'll probably get back into some more Phosani's Nightmare. Well then, Jar of Dreams and some cannonballs. That was KC 511. Not exactly what I was looking for, but hey, that's pretty cool. What is the drop rate on this? Let me check. The drop rate for the Jar of Dreams is a 1 in 4,000. Well, alright, post Jar of Dreams, good time to take a break. We're going to be doing some Tom here. Let's see if we can pick up a purple. No purple on the first raid of the session. I did die twice though. Ooh, a purple. Let's go. Not for me, but I got MVP. Purple for Warlow, I think. Justiciar, Face Guard. Okay. Just got done with the top session. I don't know if I've really shown this before, but I do occasionally do some blood rune crafting, obviously to keep up with all the site charges I use. Sometimes I do use Scar Essence just to speed things up a little bit. But honestly, even without the Scar Essence, if you have the Guardians of the Rift outfit and some Blood Essence, which you can get from TOA, and even a little bit from Nex, which I have done plenty of, it's not so bad. I think you can get about 10k Blood Runes an hour. So, I did about, I don't know, 3 or 4 tobs today, and we can assume about 200 charges per tob. So really, that's just about 1600 blood runes, which doesn't take that much time at all to runecraft. So last night we left off at KC 511 where we pulled the Jar of Dreams, a 1 in 4,000 drop. Unfortunately though, as cool as that is, it's not something we're here looking for. Now at Phosani's Nightmare, off the top of my head without looking it up, I believe it's roughly about 1 in 110, 111, 113, somewhere around there, where you should see any drop, whether that's an Inquisitor's piece, a Nightmare Staff, or one of the orbs. You should be seeing a drop somewhere in that area I just said. So I'm not really sure when my last drop was. We could be coming up to that drop rate now, so maybe we'll get a drop soon. We're already up to 520 KC today. Ever since I swapped to the Inquisitor's Mace, I've been making much better progress. As cool as getting a Eldritch Orb might be, I think the item I want the most, I have 2 options here, but I really want another Inquisitor's piece, whether that's going to be the helmet or the skirt. I think those are the 2 things I'm after the most at the moment. Another session of hard mode Tob. Let's see if we can get any purples, any kits. Not that I need kits, but other people do. Again, we're just here for the 2000 KC cape. And some money, I guess. Money's always good. First raid of the session, absolutely nothing. Ooh, okay. Didn't broadcast because they're not like in my clan officially or anything like that, but Dust for Jesse. Okay. Does he have the pet? I think he has the pet. There it is. He does have the pet. Dust and pet before a Sankit. He does have a holy sight though. Best pet in the game. Best transmogs for sure. I don't know. I'm thinking my boy Soup right now is the best pet in the game. Okay, not really. I do like Soup though. But yeah, there's a lot of cool pets in the game. No purple on the first raid of the session, but someone did get their first dust, and they have the pet, so that's nice. Moving on to the second raid, though, let's see what we can get. Ooh, a purple second raid of the session. Okay, we're printing purples lately, it feels like. Who's purple? Vicky? A Vernic Defender Hilt. Some money. I think that's like about 9 mil split per person. That's not too bad. What am I getting? 58 Zamrock Wines. Third raid, nothing. No purple, at least. Right, time for another hard mode Tom. I brought in my Fire Cape instead of my Inferno Cape. Let's see if anybody will say anything. Honestly, I wish it was the Max Cheese Cape, but I just don't have one right now, so. What happened to my cape? There it is. Ooh, a purple for me. Okay. Oh, and my MVP. Let's go. What are we getting? A Vernic Defender Hill. That is number 2 for the team. Money. Again, off of my MVP. Let's go. Another purple. My MVP. Let's go. Here it comes. That's the 3rd Avernic on the day on the session. Money we're printing. This is hard mode top too, and Avernic rates are actually reduced. In regular top, Avernics are naturally the most common, but I don't believe that's the case in hard mode top. It's actually the Justy pieces. So kind of crazy that we're pulling the Avernics right now, but they are worth more than any of the Justy pieces. In fact, it might even be worth more than the entire Justiciar armor set combined. I don't know. Oh my god, another purple. Wow. I don't get MVP this time. 4th Avernic, or will it be something else? Oh! Oh! Oh, the scythe! No way, bro! Four purples, 3 Avernics into a scythe, starting with a dust too. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my god. I've actually seen so many scythes. Like I've been doing a lot of Tob lately over the course of like the last few months and whatnot. But my goodness, the amount of scythes. Holy. Another day. Of course, we have to pull from this trusty whiteberry bush, this bush patch just north of the Ardi Monastery and south of Ardi in general. I think for you Ironman out there, you guys are very, very familiar with this bush patch. And even to this day, I honestly wonder how many whiteberries I've gotten from this patch. Easily over thousands, right? Alright, I did all my usual Iron Man things when I first log on. It's back to Phosani's we go. There's no top team around right now, so I gotta get these in while I can, before I get distracted and tempted to do more top. These tops have been very, very good to me, obviously. Although I haven't been personally pulling the scythes and the purples, although I did get a Vernic yesterday. This place doesn't seem suitable for a pet. Oh my god, this happened last time. Okay. It's honestly kind of annoying, and which is why I usually don't have a pet around. And it's because of things like this. It's just like, why can't I have a pet in the Phosani's Nightmare instance? Why not? Anyways, as I was saying, the tops have been very good to me. I mean, I think just in the last 3 days, I've seen 2 scythes, so making some good GP. And honestly, last night's session was crazy. It started out with someone pulling a dust into an Avernic, into another Avernic, into another Avernic, into the scythe. But yeah, anyways, back to Phosani's Nightmare. I was gonna say, you know, like maybe I can get some of that luck at Phosani's, although, you know, we did pull the Jar of Dreams, which is a 1 in 4,000, so crazy sequence of events in these last couple of days, honestly. Working on another Phosani's KC here. I actually have done a lot of progress today here at Phosani's. No drop to show for, unfortunately, though. But in a little bit here, I will be doing some more top. Now, last night we had a very, very good top session, as I'm sure I mentioned already, actually. We'll see if the luck continues this time around, but usually RNG evens out, right? Hey, maybe we'll get a drop right here. Sandview serums? It's not an item drop, but, you know, Sandview serums are pretty nice. The top session, well, we walked away empty-handed. Can't always have a good session, I suppose, but I'm back at Phosani's and I've been grinding away at the KC. This is 550 KC, and I think at this point it's been well over 100 KC since my last drop, so hopefully we're due one soon. Maybe we might see something right here. Zamorak Brews. That's quite disappointing, honestly. Okay, I already TP'd out, but first KC of the day, KC 555. 271 gold ore. Maybe we will metaphorically strike gold today. I think we are about rate though, so hopefully soon. So I did some digging into my screenshot folder, and our last drop was the Harmonized Orb. And just 12 KC before that, we actually got, or I think it was 12 KC, but just a little bit before that, we also got the Nightmare Staff. So it was a very fortunate sequence of events, and that's how we have the Harmonized Nightmare Staff to this day. Anyways, 412 KC, I mean, we're up to 557 now, and you can expect to see a drop every 1 in 113 on average. So in that frame of mind, I suppose, from that perspective, we should be seeing another drop soon. However, if we, start from zero, one drop in 113 KC, multiply that by 5, and that is 565. So we're just under the rate for 5 drops. So we'll see what happens. And the Jar of Dreams, I suppose it's a little bit of cope looking at it from this frame of mind, but it's actually not on the drop table, on the same drop table as all these items. So I suppose that's kind of good news. If I'm not mistaken, our starting KC to start out this Phosani's grind again was at 456, and we're currently at 558 already, working on 559, so we're actually over 100 KC already. Nice little milestone, I suppose, but like I mentioned earlier, to see a drop is every 1 in 13. I just took a 67 from yapping. Okay, let's lock in. Alright, just came out of KC 562. I think we've made a fair bit of progress here. Unfortunately, we didn't get any actual item, any armor, Inquisitor's armor, or like an orb from Phosani's. We did get the Jar of Dreams, again, a 1 in 4,000 drop, which is honestly unbelievable. And I don't know what's more unbelievable, that Jar of Dreams or the fact that we saw 2 scythe pulls in a matter of like a 3-day time span. On top of that, that second scythe, there were 3 Avernix pulled in that raid session, one of which was by me personally. So it was like a lot of purples. It was an incredible top session. But in terms of our main goal at Phosani's Nightmare, we didn't make too much progress, unfortunately. One day, the full Inquisitor set will be mine, but today's not that day, evidently. But yeah, I'm going to be wrapping it up here. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get to 600 KC, never mind 1000 KC. But again, at best, we could probably expect 8 to 9 KC an hour. And obviously, I was constantly sidetracked with doing Theater of Blood, which is a lot of fun. And at this point, we are just over 300 KC away from 2000 KC cape as well. And that will actually green log the Theater of Blood for us. So yeah, we are making progress in other areas of the game, despite, nothing in our initial goal here at Phosani's. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm going to wrap it up here, and we are in a bit of a groove at Phosani's Nightmare now. As long as I do it semi-consistently, I think I'm going to be speeding up the KCs per hour quite a bit. I'd say at the start of this video, I definitely wasn't even getting 8 to 9. I was dying quite frequently, but towards the end, I was pretty comfortable. I could even sit in Discord calls with people, so a lot of noise in the background, and I'd still be able to do it. So yeah, we're only going to be speeding up from this point, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Ooh, a purple! Rewarded for my clutch redemption. Come on, come on. A Vernic Defender Hill. You know what? We'll take it. And this time, this is a normal Tob and not a hard mode Tob, so it kind of makes sense. We're going to be picking up where we last left off, and that's Phosani's Nightmare. Obviously, we most likely opened up this video with a Tob Purple. We're still going to be doing a lot of those. Honestly, when people are online, I kind of just get dragged along. I mean, not that I have to do Tob, but, you know, when someone asks me, hey, do you want to do some Tob, especially hard mode Tob, I can't really find myself passing it up, you know, it's just a lot of fun. Besides, Phosani's Nightmare, solo content, I can do anytime I want. When it comes to raids, especially Tob, I have to have a team, and that's not always going to be the case. But yeah, nevertheless, we're going to focus our attention on Phosani's Nightmare when we are solo. Last episode, we actually picked up a Jar of Dreams. While that is very, very nice, it is not an Inquisitor's piece or an orb of any kind, so it's not very useful. We'll see if we can pick up an item in this video. I'm pretty sure we are due for a 5th item. Let's take a look at the collection log real quick, just as a quick refresher as to where we're at right now. So we're currently at 562 Nightmare KC, or Phosani's Nightmare KC. Again, we have the Mace, the Inquisitor's Top, a Nightmare Staff, and the Harmonized Orb. The drop rate to see any item at Phosani's Nightmare is 1 in 113. So if we do the math here, 562 divided by 113, I think we should be seeing an item sometime soon. But as we know in this game, we just never know. That's not how RNG works. It's never guaranteed. First KC, we get a whole bunch of brews. Now, I kind of am debating whether or not I should drop my bluefins. I suppose it's much easier to get more bluefins than it is to get brews. Not that I'm in short supply of brews, but, you know, the less herblore I have to do, the better, I suppose. A prayer potion drop. Okay, when it comes to this, there's no debating. I'm taking the prayer potions for sure. In fact, I'm going to go the extra mile here and decant these into 4 doses because they drop in 3 doses just to make sure I get all of it. I mean, it's only going to take me an extra couple of seconds here, but essentially free prayer potions. I'll be taking that. Thank you very much. Oh my god, there it is. KC 569. Nice. Inquisitor's Great Helm. Let me pick that up before something tragic happens, like disconnecting. Imagine that. I think the helmet might be a better get than the skirt. I don't know. Either way, whether I got the helm or the skirt, I wouldn't be complaining. But there we go. I was fully expecting a drop, and we finally got one. Let's take a look at the collection log here. This is incredibly lucky, not in the number of items, although obviously the Jar of Dreams is very, very lucky, 1 in 4,000. But number of items, we are right on rate pretty much at 5 items. But the fact that we have no dupes so far is incredibly lucky. I was going to finish up that KC and say that optimistically, we could only really expect to see maybe 1 drop a week. And that's if I'm putting in a good amount of hours per day. Because, well, the KC per hour is really only 8. And as I've said in the past, 1 in 113. Yeah, that's a lot of Phosanis to go through, right? A lot of hours put in just to see a drop. But before I could even, you know, like, formulate those sentences together, I finished the KC and we get the Inquisitor's Great Helm. Obviously, we're going to be using the Inquisitor's Great Helm for our Phosani's KCs now, but let me put it in the bank real quick and get rid of this one placeholder in the top right of my bank that I've had for who knows how long now. I finally get to put the actual helmet in that slot rather than a bank filler. There we go. And then we'll just take it back out now. And yeah, we'll start farming more of Phosani's Nightmare. Of course, we continued on and I went for the back-to-back attempt. Unfortunately, no back-to-back there. But very briefly, let's talk about the numbers real quick. When we were still using the Torva Helm with the Inquisitor's Top, I did opt to use the Inquisitor's Mace, even though it was slightly less DPS. I thought the DPS difference wasn't that big of a deal, and I was just having a better time with the Mace for whatever reason. Just quality of life, I suppose, dealing with the Huss the sleepwalk, well, not the sleepwalkers, but the husks, the parasites, and the boss itself. The DPS difference was about 0.1. I think maybe a little less than that, just under. But now with the Inquisitor's helm, the difference between the Scythe and the Inquisitor's mace is even less. The difference now is only 0.012. So, I guess we're definitely going to continue using the mace. Well, I think that's enough Phosanis for today. I can only do so much in one day, especially in one sitting. It's a very intensive boss. But beyond that, I mean, it's been a productive day. We pulled an Avernic from Theater of Blood. Although technically speaking, I just lost 33 mil by pulling that Avernic. Split out on my main account, of course. I do keep the Avernics on the account usually, unless I'm very, very desperate for GP. And that's because I use the Avernics for Death's Coffer. And even if I don't put it in Death's Coffer, I just have a satisfaction of putting it in my... In fact, I have a whole quote-unquote flex tab here in my bank. You can see I have dupe pieces from Chambers, Cerberus stuff, and just a whole bunch of junk in here. Well, I shouldn't say junk because this tab is evidently worth 2 bill. Now, obviously, this isn't every item I've ever pulled on this account. I've definitely dropped plenty of items over in the past to fund my main account. The highlight of the night was obviously getting a new collection log, which is very, very rare for me. I don't do very many clues, although I did have a stint of doing easy clues, trying to go for a ham joint, and I only did as many medium clues as it took for me to get the Ranger boots. So I don't really do clues at all on this account, really. So collection logs are few and far between. I currently have 699 collection logs filled, and the majority of that is actually just from PVMing. So I'd like to say that's a pretty high collection log number for not really doing that many clues. But obviously the highlight of the night today was pulling the Inquisitor's helmet. So we're 2 out of 3 pieces on Inquisitors now. And obviously we're going to keep the grind going. We'll see how long it takes for us to get another item. Obviously I won't expect one anytime soon. It's probably going to be a good couple of days, maybe even a week or more until we see another item. But I'm enjoying Phosani's Nightmare so far. I think the more I do it, the more comfortable I am. And I'm going to die less, meaning, well, I'm not going to be as frustrated, right? So it's a snowball effect, really, and I think the KC's really going to be picking up. Previously, I was like, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get 1,000 KC, and yeah, that's going to take a long time regardless, but, yeah, like I said, the KCs are going to ramp up, and we will definitely continue to do some more tomorrow. Right now, obviously, as I've been rambling, I've just been doing some blood rune crafting. Always got to keep up these scythe charges and just have blood runes for barraging as well. So after the rune crafting, I'm doing a little bit of a farm run at the Hasidius patch, because obviously this one gives you a little bit of extra yield on the herb patch, and I think protection as well, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I just, sometimes I like to right-click people I see along the farm run or just anywhere in the game, and there is this fella right here, Hasidius Ho. Pretty fitting. I'm going to look him up real quick. Probably a chunk account, I imagine. Actually, this account has nothing but farming EXP. What is going on here? Brand new day now, and I guess it wasn't a dream. I really did pull the Inquisitor's Great Helm. It is the, yeah, Inquisitor's Great Helm. I was kind of questioning if the Great was officially in the name of the item or not. But yeah, let's get started with more Phosanis. Our current KC, let's take a look real quick. 573. On my way to the 10th KC of the day. Honestly, when I think about how many KC you can do in an hour, which is at best 8, it is a little demoralizing in that way. But we did recently get the helmet drop, so that is a motivation boost. But yeah, it's just a flip-flop, you know. The run to Phosani's Nightmare is a pretty long one, even with the TP, so it's like, as I'm running to the boss, it's like, do I really want to do the boss, you know? But here we are. Don't get me wrong, the boss is actually a very enjoyable fight. It's tough to do over a long period of time. It's very punishing, but gameplay-wise, it is very nice. We can have a debate about the drop table though, and I think they have made changes over the years. I think drops are a little bit more common now, but the regular loot is honestly not all that great. The most excited I get though is when prayer potions and sandfuse serums drop, so that's pretty nice, I suppose. I don't know why I just swapped into my mage gear there. I thought it was the, I don't know, I got lost as to where I was. I'm kind of difficult talking and doing the fight, but at least I'm not dead right now, so that's good. Okay, I kind of have my bearings with me, at least for now. What I was just talking about is the loot here, and there's a strong reason, there's a big reason why Ironmen don't typically come to grind out Phosanis or even regular Nightmare early or even mid-game. This type of content's usually reserved for the end-game players that are maxed and have most of the other gear in the game. And that's honestly because best in slot crush gear is not all that useful. I suppose in more recent times they have made a few uses for it, more than before, but it's still a very, very niche armor set. There's not too many things that are weak to crush. We're currently, you know, just doing Phosanis now because, well, our options are the Void Waker grind, which we have tried, but unfortunately we just haven't had luck there. And then obviously here are Phosanis, and then the other option is Corp. So that's, you know, not great. The options aren't great there. It did not take long before we got invited to do some hard mode TOB. So here we are. Let's see if we can pull any purples. Ooh, a purple. Off of my MVP. A Vernic Defender hilt. Okay, okay. What the heck? KC 704? We just got our third dust. Let's take a look at the collection log there. Yep, third dust. Wow. Ooh, a purple. Okay, okay. For me, wow, I've been getting a lot of purples lately. On my MVP as well. What are we getting? A Vernic Defender hilt. Okay. Money. A lot of those lately. It shouldn't really come as a surprise, but I got completely sidetracked and did a pretty big hard mode TOB session. Now I did go back and do some more Phosanis, but I didn't get very many KCs in before I just planked. So I think that's enough PVMing for tonight. I did about somewhere between 10 to 15 Phosanis today. I would like to do a little bit more than that. Hopefully we'll chip away at the KC tomorrow. We're definitely going to get the 600 KC mark tomorrow. In the meantime, though, I'm just going to do a little bit of skilling, recoup a little bit of our supplies. So I'm going to be making diamond necklaces here to turn into phoenix necklaces. I do use those in TOB. And then obviously I got to think about blood runes, maybe some prayer potions, super combats, all of that. You know, just typical Iron Man upkeep at this stage of the account. Wow, it's been a long time since I've even showcased this account on any of the videos, I think. I can't even remember the last time I featured this. It was probably before the Grandmaster grind, right at the end, actually, because that was the point where I stopped even AFKing on this account and just put all my attention into becoming Grandmaster. Before that, I mean, I was sporadically showing this account. I was just thieving in the background here in Varlamore. I'm actually 96 thieving now, and I think that's where I left off as well. So yeah, I really haven't been playing this account at all. But I decided to log in just to see, you know, like what kind of items I had in the bank, what items I had on me. I have the scythe equipped actually. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll do a little update on this account because honestly, I haven't been on this account for so long that some viewers might not even know what this account is. Now, the maxed account I've played for the longest time, and that was the first account, of course, in the game. When I first started the YouTube series, this was the account I made fresh, so episode 1 and much of the early videos in the series follows this account. And then sometimes we get up to some dolo stuff where I feature both accounts. I'm working on stuff either together with both accounts or just having individual grinds. But at some point, I kind of just got tired of playing 2 accounts at once all the time, and I would just pick one or the other account to play. This account is a 50 defense, 63 prayer, and 82 attack restricted account. The 82 attack is kind of a silly restriction. It just keeps my combat levels a little bit lower because 82 attack, you pretty much have access to every weapon in the game. Now, defense is where it's more restrictive, right? And actually, the defense levels do play a role into what weapons I could use as well. 50 defense is just high enough to let me use the Perilous Moons gear, which is very, very strong, actually. But the 82 attack, that limits me, or rather the 50 defense limits me from using anything with shared EXP, so like a whip or like a hosta, things of that nature. 63 prayer is just high enough to get me Deadeye and Mystic Vigor, the prayers from Royal Titans. So these account restrictions were very much inspired by the Varlamore updates. Everything else is not restricted. You can even see here I'm 1 sailing, so I definitely haven't even logged in for a long time. I may be back on the account, but I still have no idea what I want to do on this account. So I guess while I'm just yapping away here, I'm just going to continue thieving, which is what I was last doing. We are just under 700k EXP away from 97. This account and the YouTube series that launched with it came about during a time where I was feeling a bit uninspired and perhaps even burnt out from the endgame Ironman experience. I've always played this game with a very PVM focused mindset, so collection logging, like clue hunting specifically, was not something really on my mind. And at that point, once I was a maxed Ironman, with all the mega rares achieved, most of the notable PVM items acquired, I just didn't really know what else to do. So I kind of, well, I shouldn't say started from scratch, okay? I just got booted out of the house because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I didn't necessarily start from scratch on this account because obviously this account is attached to the maxed account. But there was a good period where I just worked my way towards everything. Obviously, I had to do quests. I did do Corrupt the Gauntlet on this account. And I thought the 50 defense restriction was gonna be an added challenge because I wasn't sure if I was able to get the Inferno Cape, which I have on right now, or the Quiver on a 50 defense account, because believe it or not, despite being a Grandmaster in the game now, once upon a time I did not believe I would ever get an Inferno Cape, not even on a maxed account. But these days I have multiple KC, and I'm just going to reiterate now, I even achieved Grandmaster, the pinnacle of PVM in this game, right? So I suppose the accounts have reversed their roles. I'm now feeling uninspired and burnt out from playing this account. And on the main, I've been very inspired, very motivated, evident by the Radiant Upplate grind, the GM grind, sailing to reobtain the max cape, things of that nature. We've been doing a whole lot on that account. And this account hasn't even so much as been featured in a clip or anything like that. Now, I purposely stopped playing this account for good reason. I mean, one good reason is just, I haven't been inspired to do anything on it. But 2, I didn't want to play on it and, change my mind and level up attack, defense, or prayer with the potential of regretting that decision. Because once I level those up, I can't go back, right? If I ever want that account type again, I'd have to make a new account. Although, it's not like it would take that long to get those combat stats, which are the most important thing on this account. Honestly, I don't know where this tangent and ramble came about. I logged on just to, check on the account because I haven't logged in a while. But yeah, I guess that's where we're at on this account. And I guess the series, another day, and it's back to Phosani's we go. Let's try to make up for the lack of KC we did yesterday and get to 600 and beyond. We should be able to hit 600 no problem today. Here we go, KC 600. Now, I'm not going to be expecting another drop for a while, probably another 80, 90 KC or so, I forget the exact number, but You know, 600 would be a nice number too. Instead, we get gold ore. Wow, that came out of nowhere. A new Phosani's Nightmare PB by 10 seconds, down from a 458 to a 448. What? I don't even know what to say. Like, it was just... Like, I did not feel like I was going fast at all, but, I mean, here we are. I guess it's because now that we have 2 Inquisitor's pieces, our accuracy is a whole lot better. So, if we're just getting consistent hits, I think a new PB is bound to happen. Lots of progress at Phosani's today, but unfortunately, I did end my session there with a death. You can actually see it in the chat box. And what I also said in the chat box was 8 more hours of Phosani's Nightmare till I hit rate for a 6th item, give or take. If we scroll up a little bit here, when was our last KC? Yeah, a couple of minutes ago. KC 612. So I did some math. If we multiply 6 times 113, that's going to be 678. So yeah, another 66 KC to go. So that's roughly 8 hours, a little bit more than that, to hit rate. So maybe we'll see another drop sometime soon. So I'm just taking a bit of a breather here at the Amethyst Mine, and I'm doing this for good reason, actually. I've been using a blowpipe with Amethyst darts at Phosani's to deal with the sleepwalkers. Now, people are going to be like, well, why don't you just use something that's less expensive, you know, like just any darts or whatever. But honestly, Amethyst darts are probably the most easy for me to get, and I really don't feel like going out of my way to make bronze darts or something random like that. Besides, I'm going to need more Amethyst darts for other locations anyways. For example, when I'm doing TOA or, well, honestly, I can't really think of too many locations we'd have to use a blowpipe these days. But point still stands. New day just came back from lunch, logged on. Well, actually, I'm exposing myself. I've been logged on for an hour. While I was eating lunch, I was mining some more amethyst. But our starting KC today is 628. Oh! Nightmare Staff number 2. What KC is that? There we go. 636. Nightmare Staff number 2. That's our first dupe. I can't be mad about that. We're actually pretty lucky right now. Fantastic. And I just stole Gooba's thunder because he just got a Blue Moon chestplate collection log. And then just a couple of seconds later, I get the Nightmare Staff. Do you know what, though? If there's a dupe to get at Phosani's, it's definitely the Nightmare Staff because, you know, you can get up to 3 and you can still make good use of them since there are 3 different orbs. So, in that regard, we're still very, very lucky right now. This could not work out any better, honestly. Going for the back-to-back attempt right now, naturally, but in terms of items and when we can expect a 7th item, it's gonna be a good bit. Well over 100 KC, because we weren't gonna be expecting a 6th item until KC's, I believe, 678. But obviously, we just pulled it on 636. So yeah, it's going to be close to 800 KC total until we see our next item. Expected anyways, but you know, with RNG, we never know. It could take longer than that. It could be earlier than that. We just never know. Only thing we can do is to keep doing the content to give ourselves a chance. Can we get a back-to-back? Prayer potions. We've been making good progress at Phosani, so I think I'm going to take a well-deserved break and do some more TOB. Let's see if we can get any purples, make some money. And we are getting closer and closer to the 2000 KC cape. I'm almost at 1000 regular TOBs, actually. Oh, a purple? Wow, I've been getting a lot of purples lately, it feels like. Okay, what are we going to get? Another Avernic, perhaps? Sanguinesti Staff, okay. 20 mil. That is our 7th Sanguinesti Staff. Checking back into Phosani's Nightmare, we're now up to 663 KC, so safe to say we are in a bit of a groove with Phosani's now. We're pretty comfortable with it. Obviously, I still make the mistake here and there, and I do die on occasion, but I've been making a point to just stay above 80 health at all times, because I do believe that's right around the max hit. So As long as I can afford myself a mistake or two a run, it's honestly not too bad, and we've been securing KCs, getting pretty close to 8 an hour, so that's all we can ask for. A fortunate but unfortunate sequence of events just now. I got a KC 669, and I got grimy Catentines, but unfortunately, I double-death Phosanis. So the KC counted, and I saw the loot, but I died. And luckily, it wasn't a drop. Otherwise, I'd probably cry. Just got done with KC 678. We got ourselves 5 Snapdragon seeds, which is actually on the unlucky side of things, I think. Because I think you can get up to 9 of these seeds in one drop. Anyways, though, 678 is kind of important because we currently have 5 items. Or actually, scratch that, 6 items. And that's right on rate for 6 items. So when we pulled the second Nightmare Staff, we were lucky for a little bit, but now we're back on rate, and we can expect to get another drop at 791, I believe. Another day, another session. Just got done with my farming contract and birdhouse run as per usual, and we're just picking up some extra salves here for our Tob runs. Now, between hard mode Tob, regular Tob, and all the Phosanis we've been doing, I think I've been gaming just a little bit too hard, because my hand is kind of feeling it. It's a little sore, hurts a little bit, I don't know, just, you know, like, obviously from just gaming too much, right? Because when I'm not at hard mode Tob, which is pretty intensive in itself, you know, ripping all the switches and whatnot, I'm at Phosani's Nightmare, in which I have to also rip like 8-way switches whenever it gets to the totem phases. So yeah, it's a lot of clicking involved, a lot of mouse movement. And I think with that being said, after I pick up another inventory of salves here today, let's take a look at our collection log to take a look at our KC 685. I think I'm going to get to that 700 mark, see if we can get ourselves another drop. Although I've been talking numbers recently and we're not really going to be expecting one, but you know, you got to do the content to find out. Just picked up some cosmic runes on that first KC of the day. It's actually pretty nice because that way I don't have to buy any cosmic runes. There's not too many locations where I get cosmic runes as a drop, I don't think. In the last 100 to 200 KC, I've definitely died a lot less at Phosani's now, and the biggest reason, beyond just being more comfortable with the boss again, is that I stopped having this weird mindset where I'd be below 80 health or whatever health, just sitting low HP, and I'd refuse to eat because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this is a bad time to eat, it's inefficient, yada, yada, yada. But basically, all I have to tell myself is, do you know what's even more inefficient at eating at a bad time and putting yourself on cooldown? If you're dying, especially if you're 4 or 5 minutes into a run already and you die. That is very inefficient. Now, I'm going to quit talking now because I just took a whole ton of damage and now I'm out of food, so I'm going to have to lock in for the rest of this fight. Alright, we've made it. We're working on KC 700 right now. Only had to do about 15 today, but in saying only, really, that still takes a good 2 hours or so. Again, 8 KC an hour. No drops in the last 14 KC, and to be honest, I don't quite expect one here on the 15th KC, but it would be a nice conclusion to this video. Again, my hand kind of hurts from gaming too hard, which is a very, very bad sign. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take it easy for a little bit after this. Alright, here we go. Just about to enter the enrage phase here. Got 1 Dragon Claw Spike. Pretty big hit at that. Off the top of my head, those things are only like 31% accuracy, so pretty good. Honestly, maybe even lower now that I have the Inquisitor's helm on instead of a Torva helmet. Speaking of which, I believe the Phosani's grind really took a turn for me for the better when I got the Inquisitor's helm. I don't know the numbers on this, but from a feel standpoint, once I got 2 pieces of Inquisitors to pair with my Inquisitor's mace, the grind has felt a lot better, and I've been racking up the KC all the way up to 700. We are definitely going to keep going, though. I still got the skirt to get, and I still got 2 more orbs to get, and as a nice bonus, it'd be nice to get a 3rd staff as well, but I won't be tripping if we don't end up with a 3rd staff. But yeah, I'm going to call it a video here. We will definitely be continuing with more Phosanis in the future though. No way, no way, no way, no way. What? What? This is my maxed Grandmaster Ironman account, or more specifically, Group Ironman, in case anybody, wants to be all up in arms about that. I'm a solo gim. I do have another account that's attached to it on the side that I had been playing early in the year, although it is kind of inactive right now. It's a 50 defense account. Nevertheless, I digress. We are currently working on Phosani's Nightmare, or the Nightmare grind in general, in order to get full Inquisitors and the Nightmare staffs, Nightmare staves, that come along with it. Let's take a look at the collection log here. We've been working on Phosani's for quite a while now, and we're up to 700 KC. Our log is looking pretty good, honestly. Very little dupes. In fact, we only got the second Nightmare staff pretty recently. And if we're looking for dupes here, if we're going to get one, the staff is the best one because, well, we could use up to 3 of them and make use of those without having to constantly dismantle and then combine the orbs to the staff over and over again. So nice quality of life if we end up getting 3. But in terms of the armor set, we're missing the plate skirt, and then the orbs, we're missing the volatile, which is not as relevant. That's mostly a PvP one. And then the Eldritch orb, which is going to be nice in some situations. But we already have our hands on the harmonized orb. And actually, we absolutely spooned the Jar of Dreams not that long ago. I don't know if we're ever going to get the pet. The pet is actually more common than the jar. So, I mean, I guess there's a chance, I suppose. But anyways, let's get to it. Just as I start this first KC of the session, I realize I'm on the wrong spellbook. Luckily, I'll use my max cape here to swap onto the correct one. Now I can summon my thralls and use depth charge. Here we go, entering in rage phase for the first KC of the session. Can we get off to a good start here? The KC was a little bit rough. If you look over to my inventory, I'm actually completely out of food. So I was making a lot of mistakes, but nevertheless, we got through it. And we will be rewarded with 16 Runite ore. You may be wondering why I'm even bothering with Phosani's. Well, my account is at that point where the only grinds left to do are Corp, Phosani's, and personally, I still have the Void Waker grind to do. A lot of people like to get that out the way early, but I definitely avoided it for the longest time. And hey, I even became Grandmaster without a Void Waker. I did try to get one, but I've just had no such luck, especially not at Calvarion. So nevertheless, here we are at Phosani's, and maybe by the time this video releases, or maybe sometime in the future, at some point, Inquisitors will be great again. Crush will be very important. Hey, maybe Raids 4, who knows? Pure speculation on my end, but above all else, I guess at the very least, the Inquisitor's armor does look cool. We're missing the plate skirt right now, but honestly, the Blorva plate legs go well with it too, but obviously the plate skirt is going to complete the set, and that would be very nice. Alright, checking in at KC 713. Gonna head in for one more KC for the night. We started at 700, so 14 KC, just about under 2 hours. Well, I've definitely been logged in for over 2 hours. It's not like I've been, really camping, sitting here at my chair, not leaving and stuff. I've been taking it pretty easy, but 14 KC for this first session in the night, not bad. We'll continue this grind tomorrow. Let's see if we can get anything good to close out the night, though. Our last drop we pulled was actually our second Nightmare Staff at KC 636, and when we pulled it at that point, we were actually lucky in terms of the number of items. So can't really complain there, but I will say, because we quote-unquote spooned it, it has been quite a while, and it will be a while until we see the next item, unfortunately. But then again, we're just speaking in terms of what we can expect based on the math. For all we know, we could pull a double drop, which I believe actually is possible. You could get an orb and like any Inquisitor's piece, I think, or even a staff. But I wonder what the math on that is. Probably very, very unlikely. But we could pull that right now. One could hope. All right, here we go, entering in rage phase. Pretty good claw spec there. And ironically, the mace is not hitting so well, even though the Dragon Claw accuracy is actually very poor, and the mace accuracy is obviously very good. But there we go. What are we getting? Some nature runes. Another login session. Time to pick the whiteberry bush, as we do. Let's take a look at the starting Phosani's Nightmare for today, 714. Now, obviously, I've never mentioned this in the past, but we do have 8 Nightmare KC, and that's mostly just for doing the combat achievements in order to get Grandmaster. Now, I will say, though, in those 8 Nightmare kills, when I went for Perfect Nightmare, I managed to see, not get, so there is a difference there, I managed to see a Inquisitor's top, so I guess that was pretty lucky, even if it wasn't in my name. Only doing 8 KC and seeing a drop. The farm contract for right now is the potato cactus. Well, I gotta clear this patch first and plant a new one. Here on Fossil Island, one more thing to do before we get started on Phosani's again, and that's a birdhouse run. I still try to do at least one of these a day. Nice little passive hunter EXP, as well as obviously the bird's nest, which in all honesty, I'm not in short supply of right now, but I don't know, it's just something that's low effort to do. A nice routine to do every time you log on. I mean, I don't actually do this every single time, but I try to. Sometimes when I'm really amped for a certain grind, I definitely just skip over this. For example, when I was doing sailing, I was doing nothing but sailing. I didn't do any other content but sailing until I was 99. Nevertheless, yeah, let's just head over to the final birdhouse here, and then let's get geared up for Phosani's. I would like to get up to at least 750 in this session, which is going to be about a 3-4 hour session, which isn't too bad, but we are going to have to lock in if we're going to want to reach that, I think. All right, let's go get geared up. All right, this first KC has been kind of rough, but we are heading into Enrage phase now, and should be able to secure the KC unless we just start missing. We do have one bluefin tuna in our inventory right now that we're going to eat. And let's see what we're going to get for the first KC of the session. Oh, we did take a fair bit of damage there, actually. Some bass. Okay, classic. The infamous bass drop. As an Ironman, when you're on any grind, but especially on a grind as long as Phosani's Nightmare, you're going to be curious as to how long it may take in terms of hours or in terms of the number of KC you may need to complete a collection log for that boss. Well, here at Phosani's Nightmare, excluding the pet and the jar, which by the way, we are fortunate enough to have spooned the jar, which is I think like a 1 in 4,000 or something like that. Crazy. Oops, just stepped next to a spore. But yeah, a 1 in 4,000 jar. We're not even including that. Or the 1 in 1,500 pet. I think that's the rate. Well, excluding those, it still takes about 6,000 KC on average to get all 3 orbs, each of the Inquisitor's pieces, the mace, and at least 1 Nightmare staff. So yeah, Nightmare is one of the last grinds for Ironman for good reason. For one thing, I mentioned this before, but Crush Armor just isn't that integral to the overall PVM arc right now. There's not too many Crush bosses or mobs even. So it's really not that important in that regard, but when we're at this stage of the account, and right now in real time with the things left to do in the game in terms of PVM and PVM items, I mean, I'm just here, you know, but I don't know if I'm going to be here for 6,000 KC, I'll tell you what, though. Especially since one of the orbs, the volatile orb, is really not that relevant to us as an Ironman. We're not going to be PvPing or anything like that. My main motivation at Phosani's right now is to complete the Inquisitor set, and obviously we are just 1 plate skirt drop away from doing so. Now we have to do about 1,283 KC, on average anyways, to complete the full Inquisitor set. This isn't including the mace, this is just the armor set. I mean, obviously we already have the mace, we're using it. But if we're looking at it from that number, we're not too far off. We're about 500 KC off right now, and while that is a lot, I think I can do another 500 KC. I don't know how long that may take for us, but I could see myself doing another 500 KC. Let's just hope we don't go dry, right? Anytime I try to talk while doing Phosanis, it just goes south really, really quickly. We are now down to 1 bluefin in our inventory. But again, let me lock in and hopefully finish this KC out. This is why I try to, you know, talk about things when I'm actually not in the Phosani fight. Oh, that's not good. And more so when I'm like on the way or just standing at the bank or something. This was a hard-fought KC, although maybe I shouldn't speak too soon, but I think we have this in the bag. 16 damage to go. We're completely out of food. We could proc redemption still. Okay, there we go. What are we getting? Prayer potions. Always nice to get. No way, no way, no way, no way. What? What? Full Inquisitors, no ink dupes. We got 2 nightmare stabs, but oh my. What? What? Let's take a look at the collection log here. I just came back from dinner too. This is only like 2-3 KCs in. Post dinner. We're at. Let's open the log. Oh my god. That's KC 735. Look at this collection log. What? Like what? This RNG is insane. I almost have to question it. Does Phosanis have that feature like at Perilous Moons where you can't get dupe pieces, or like at Araxor when you get the Noxious Halberd, you're guaranteed to get a full halberd completion, each of the 3 pieces? I don't think Phosanis has that feature, right? I think they talked about potentially having that, but I don't think they ever integrated that. I think this is just insane RNG. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Splock in my clan chat here is saying that they were gonna propose that and change it to that, but apparently people didn't like that idea, so they just improved the drop rate. So now we see a drop every 1 in 13 KC or so. Now here we are at the bank. Let's put, where did my Inquisitor, oh wait, I'm wearing it, duh. Okay, let's take it off real quick. Let's put it in the bank to get its placeholder. Just as we did with the helmet, we're replacing the bank filler. And I guess I'll de-equip bank all my gear. There it is, the full set of Inquisitors, and I think the mace is down here somewhere. Okay, the bottom half of this tab is a little messy from all the sailing related stuff. But yeah, there's the mace and full Inquisitors. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Of course, we are still missing 2 orbs, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still just so shocked that I actually got full Inquisitors without any dupes. Well, I just got done with a hard mode top session that was... Hello, I'm speaking here. I just got done with a hard mode top session after getting the full Inquisitors set. Currently it is a Tuesday night and tomorrow's update day, right? And I just found out I'm gonna be losing my Zuck helmet. I'm going to need to do some Slayer here to pick up a Griffin's task. Well, first, apparently I have to unlock them first, and I don't have any points. I legitimately have 0 points right now, so I guess I'll be doing a bit of point boosting, and then point skip or task skipping to get myself a Griffin task for Shellbane Griffins. Okay, cut. I was operating under the assumption that 1 month after sailing release, surely this was going to be the week where they release Shellbane Griffin combat achievements. Also, to be honest, someone who told me that they were coming out, and for some reason I just fully believed it. I guess because, you know, it should be coming out. Most combat achievements come out only a few weeks after the initial release of the boss. Okay, back to the live recordings. But just know that I'll be operating under the assumption that tomorrow is Shellbane Griffin combat achievements. But in post, we now know that's not the case. But also, ironically, by the time this video comes out, Shellbane Griffin CAs probably will be out. First order of business, I have to get rid of this task I'm currently on. Mutated Zygomites. They're probably quick to do, but no thank you. It sounds terrible. 22 cows. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do some Turiel boosting, Aya boosting, so we can do this real quick. Doing my cow's task, we got a sandwich lady. Baguette, triangle sandwich. Never mind, not interested. You know what? Actually, I'll take it. Alright, we got done with 9 Aya tasks. What are we gonna get? 20 Dark Beasts? We can do that nice and easy, quick as well. Definitely not the most cost-efficient way to do Dark Beasts as I'm swinging my scythe, but you know what? It's gonna get the job done quicker. Just 2 more to go, 1 more after this one. We should be getting a fair amount of points since I did 9 Aya tasks before doing this Duradel, or Curadel task, I should say. I did contemplate doing a Konar task, but I mean, you just never know with Konar. It's always a bit of a gamble. You could end up with a pretty terrible task to do. 20 Dark Beasts is not so bad, though. And as I'm yapping away, we are done. We just got 75 points. I think I am going to have to do another task, though. We're looking for griffins. Oh, those are Aquanites. Oh, right at the bottom. Stephen Curdell will be able to assign griffins as your task. 80 points. So yeah, we're 5 short. So Curdell, what kind of task are you going to give me? 109 worms? We can definitely do that. Alright, my first instinct was to come to Mount Karom in the Slayer dungeon here and do the worms that are just over there. However, we should be going to the Lava Strike Worm so that we can farm some Dragon Metal Sheets and whatever else they might drop. I haven't done any of those yet, and we do need Dragon Metal Sheets for sure if we plan on upgrading our boats. Alright, we have geared up and we're currently sailing to Charred Island where the Charred Dungeon is, and that's where the Lava Strike Worms are located. Let me actually open up the map right now just to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. I think we have to head a bit more east. Charred Island is right here, and it is actually just south of Pest Control. However, I'm sailing from Deep Fin Point right now, but it's not too big of a deal because, well, I got a Rosewood haul, so we're a pretty speedy boy right now. No idea why I have the Royal Seed Bod in my inventory. I don't even know how that got there, honestly, but I guess we're working with that now. And we have made it here. Let's disembark. There's actually a guy here. What? In full, well, not quite full, but dragon armor. Interesting, interesting. There are facilities to be built here. Looks like this is an anvil space. And more importantly, this is a bank chest space right here. So we could get a bank chest built here if we really wanted to. I just can't be bothered with that right now. Oh, and there's some hunting. Oh, red salamander spot. Okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. There is a sheer drop below the hull. You'll need a... No! Oh, that is tragic. Okay, at least I'll just sail back up north where pest control is to bank. And surely I have some rope in my bank. We are back and we have the rope with us. Hopefully we only need the one, right? Okay, looks like we're good. We're in. Oh, there's red dragons. Oh, there's... Oh, I thought it was just lava strike worms down here, but there's red dragons. Someone's got a cannon over there fighting... It's not rendering in front of me, so I don't know what that is. Where are the lava strike worms? There's a fishing spot down here. Well, okay. Black dragons as well. Fire giants. Hellhounds. Wow, this is a pretty big cave. I had no idea. Those are rune rocks? Wow. Lesser demons. Where are the strike worms? Where are the strike worms? Necreals are down here. Oh, I think I see them. Oh, they're huge. Lava strike worm. Clanmates here. But yeah, looks like this is going to be pretty chill. They're aggressive too, so I could just turn on auto retaliate and just kind of chill. So we're doing lava strike worms because we want to get dragon metal sheets. Dragon metal sheets are 1 in 400 off task, but when you are on task, they are a 1 in 100. So with this task, I think it's safe to say that we might expect 1. And then if we're lucky, especially with the abrasive of oh! Well, there we go. Okay. All right. 3 lava strike worms. Actually, no, that was 4. 4 lava strike worms, and we got it. I couldn't even finish my sentence, but basically, if you are on task, they drop down from a 1 in 400 to a 1 in 100. So very good to do on task. We are absolutely printing sheets. Oh man, I'm just going to go ahead and drop these rune knives. I don't have room right now. Second dragon metal sheet. This is fantastic. Oh my god, that's a superior. Okay, magma strike worm. I guess we're just going to keep protecting melee. Is it gonna mage us? It's not looking like it, so maybe this superior isn't too big of a deal, but oh, it dug? I dodged that, and I don't know if I needed to, but I have a strong feeling that you do, otherwise you're going to take massive damage there. Interesting, okay. I was just about to say, you know what, this superior isn't that bad, and it probably still isn't that bad, because, I mean, we took 0 damage right there. But I can definitely see that dig attack doing massive, massive damage. Pretty interesting. Anyways, we are just over halfway through the task right now. Of course, we still got our slaughter bracelets to extend it a little bit, but 49 left to go. And we do have the 2 dragon metal sheets from pretty early on in the task. And honestly, I don't really expect to get another one. It'd be crazy if we got 3 in one task. Nearing the end of this task now, but one more superior before we hit the road. Now, what I would want from a superior actually is the eternal gem. I already have a saturated heart, so an eternal gem would be very nice for more. Oh, gotta move. I almost wanted to just tank that just to see how much damage I would take. I was sitting at 99 there. Surely it's not a one shot from 99. But, you know, if I did die, it'd be kind of a pain to get back here. So yeah, let's not do that, you know? And we get ourselves 200 lava runes, adamant plate body, which we're not even going to bother to pick up right now because we're not on standards to alch. We did miss out on a fair bit of GP because we're on the Archaea spellbook, opting for death charge instead. But again, this is just because I don't have the bank chest set up top. And even if I did, it's actually a bit of a run. The strike worms are at the end of this cave here. Like, to get in and out of this cave, we have to run all the way west. We can't even see the exit right now. We are done with the task. Let's get out of here. Let's grab our Karamja gloves so we can go to Curadel, you know what I mean. And before we click on assignment to get a new task, let's go to rewards, right-click rewards, scroll all the way to the bottom. It's going to cost us 80 points. We have 90. Wing spread. Confirm. Now, I don't actually know if it's going to be better to go to Steve or Curadel, but considering we do have a block list set up with Curadel, I guess I'm going to go ahead and 200 spiritual creatures. Well, so begins our grind to hunt for a task before we can even do any Shellbane Griffin. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Slayer locked bosses, but I guess they work that way for a reason. We are a few skips in now, and I just remembered this feature from the Slayer Masters. We can actually view our list here and see the percentage, the chance of getting a certain task. So with Griffins here, we have a chance, a 4% chance. Okay. I suppose that's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best if we see the other things in our list here. We have like a 5.7%, we have a 6.2%. But yeah, now we know. This is all the time I have for now. I'm going to continue task skipping so that I can pick up a Griffin's task so that we can do the Shellbane Griffin combat achievements. Now, I haven't done the boss beyond just doing the Troubled Tortugans quest, so I'm actually going to have to learn it, but I don't think it's going to be too difficult considering I got the job done without even knowing the mechanics to the boss, and I'm pretty sure the boss is just an early mid-game boss, so how hard could it be, right? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Honestly, this Shellbane Griffin detour could not have come at a better time because, well, after spooning the full Inquisitor set with the plate skirt today, I'm not really sure what I want to do at Phosani's. Do I keep going? I think I do, but I'm not entirely convinced with myself yet, so we're going to figure that out. But until then, I will catch you guys on the next one, where we are probably going to be doing the Shellbane Griffin combat achievements. So that was a lie. I guess we'll be working on more Phosanis, but this time with full Inquisitors. Just a few weeks ago, our Phosani setup looked like this, and then we quickly transitioned to this, and then we got this. And now finally, just last week, we got this. And yes, I am switching back to the scythe because now that we have full Inquisitors, the DPS difference between using the mace and the scythe, well, the scythe is a whole 0.3 DPS better. So today we're going to continue doing some more Phosani's Nightmare and try to get ourselves either a Volatile Orb, a Eldritch Orb, or perhaps even another Nightmare Staff. Or, if we're very lucky, well, we are lucky, let's just take a look at the log already, or if we're very, very lucky, we could get the pet as well. There is green log potential with our Phosani's collection log right now. We just logged on for the day, so naturally there are some things to do. Of course, pick from our trusty whiteberry bush that has been here since we probably had the level to plant a whiteberry bush. TP to the farming guild. Looks like our farming contract is ready. Potato cacti. I'll be taking the EXP from that, and then we'll be speaking to the guildmaster. What's our next contract? Cannantine, we can definitely do that. We're harvesting some snape grass right now as well, and honestly, I'm wondering, do we profit prayer potions from doing Phosani's? When they do drop, it does give a lot of prayer potions. I don't know, I haven't really been paying that close of attention. Of course, one birdhouse run a day at minimum. And just one more little thing before we finally get started on the Phosani's grind today. That's going to be doing some blood rune crafting. We're going to be using the scythe again, so we're definitely going to be using a fair bit of charges, and in turn, a fair bit of blood runes. I'm not going to do too many trips here though, just a couple to get us going so I don't feel as bad burning all our blood runes. And I made a foolish mistake, I didn't fill my colossal pouch, so that was a whole run to the altar for a whopping 47 blood runes. Since we did change our setup a little bit, oh, I just realized I don't have the plate skirt on. For viewers that have seen the previous videos, this setup is mostly the same. We're just swapping out the Torva legs with our new Inquisitor's plate skirt, and we're now using a scythe. But that's the biggest difference, right? We're now using a scythe again, so the Inquisitor's mace goes in our inventory, and because of that, we're actually -1 inventory space. We're down a little bit of food, but everything else is the same. We're bringing 1 Sandfew, or it's not a Sandfew, it's a Relsum's Balm, 2 Prayer Potions, a Divine Super Combat, our Saturated Heart. Of course, we have Death Charge and Thralls. I am still bringing the mace, and that's just to deal with the parasites. Alright, let's head on over to Phosani's. Our starting KC is 735, which is where we last left off, the exact number where we pulled the Inquisitor's plate skirt, completing the set. Now, we're off on our journey to try to get another staff, maybe the pet, and definitely 2 more orbs. I suppose in bringing the mace and the scythe still, there's also some pretty niche uses as well. For example, just at the end of this phase just now, Phosani's was left with just about 3 health before I phased it to this totem phase, and I was able to just mace it rather than scythe it, saving me a tick. So very marginal difference there, but you know, I guess if you really want a game, it is worth it. Alright, but here we go. First KC of the day. Oh, a max claw. Okay, followed by a 2. Like most first KCs of the day or in any session, they're usually a little bit rough. You can see I'm completely out of food right now, and hopefully I get the swing here. Very nice. 10 HP, no food. Can't even proc another redemption. And we get 7 Snapdragon Seeds. Working on the second KC here. I'm not going to be showcasing every KC, obviously, but in the middle of me doing this, Clan is having a conversation with me about Phosani's, and I just got asked, am I going to do more after completing full Inquisitors? Kind of funny, as I'm quite literally doing Phosani's right now. Oh no. Did I just die 2 times in a row, making it all the way to Enrage phase? Maybe. Okay, we're heading back though, and we're making another little adjustment. Turns out I don't really need the Avernic Defender to one-shot the parasites, and definitely not the husk, so I'm going to be dropping that, and now we have an extra piece of food once again. Man, this session has been rough. My 3rd death already. I did get in a good little bit before I died again this 3rd time. You know, I did start off dying twice in a row, but yeah, I don't know. It's been a little bit rough, but I am enjoying having this full Inquisitor set. I've been thinking, I mean, very obviously we have a very, very fortunate collection log, but it honestly could not have worked out any better, because now that we have the full Inquisitor set, it actually enables us to farm the boss quicker, right? Whereas if we spoon the Volatile Orb or the Eldritch Orb, or even both of them rather than the full Inquisitor set, well, while those drops are nice, it doesn't help us farm the boss any quicker. So with the way things have panned out, us going for the Volatile Orb, the Eldritch Orb, and even the pet perhaps, we get to do it in full Inquisitors, in full best in slot. Minus the Void Waker, but we don't talk about that. Alright, we are reaching a little bit of a milestone. Working on KC 750 right now, which is actually initially the goal I had in mind in last week's video, where I wanted to get to 750 in my session, but we ended up pulling the plate skirt on 735, and then we got sidetracked on a whole bunch of things. But here we are back at Phosani's, and we're going to chip away. We're going to continue doing more Phosani's. I don't actually know how much. I gotta say that now that I have the full Inquisitor set... Oh, I gotta eat here. I'm actually not potted. I'm greeting on my Divine Super Combats. What are we getting? Grimy Torstals, not too bad of a drop. But as I was saying, now that I have full Inquisitors, it's actually not as motivating to go for the Volatile and Eldritch Orbs, because they're just not that useful. I mean, even the Inquisitor set at this point in time isn't that useful, but it is nice to have. So I don't know how much more Phosani's Nightmare I'm going to be doing with this stint. I guess a few weeks ago when I first started this grind again, I did say 1000 KC, and I suppose that's a nice number to round off. But I don't know. I don't want to confirm anything. I don't have any concrete goals at this point in time, because realistically, if I leave Phosani's right now, what else is there left to do? Do hundreds, thousands of Corp to get an Ellie? Yeah, I don't know. So we'll just see day by day. You know, maybe one day I'm just going to get bored of Phosani's, but right now I'm still enjoying it, to be honest. Oh, and one more note before I continue the grind. I was expected to see a drop at 791 KC. That's not going to be the case anymore because we spooned the skirt early. And as such, the next item that we're expecting to see isn't going to be until 904 KC. Again, this is just based on the numbers. Obviously, we've been lucky, and maybe we will continue to be lucky. Or, alternatively, we could also just start going on a dry streak. I don't know, and you just never know. But right now, things are looking good, and I'm still motivated to do Phosani's. Now that I'm using the scythe again, I got curious. I wanted to find out how many scythe charges I was using per KC. So just before I start this one, if we just scroll up a little bit, also let's try not to die, if I can find it without dying. You know what, basically before the KC, I checked my scythe charges, and then I'll be checking it once I complete this KC, and I'll check back in with you once I have that done. Okay, now that we're not fighting for our lives, just got done with the KC, I can finish what I was trying to say. So before the KC, I checked how many scythe swings I had or how many charges I had. The number was 12,807. After being done with the KC, we are now down to 12,771. So if we subtract those numbers, 36 charges, which is actually not very much, actually. I'm kind of surprised. But I suppose if we break it down, we don't really do that many scythe swings since it hits so hard anyways. That's honestly not too bad. We won't have to make too many blood runes. KC 760? Okay. Here's the collection log. You know what? Okay, Beej Kev just said it in the clan chat. 416 hero is eating. We're working towards a dupe set of Inquisitors for the 50 defense account. Alright, cool. Rune airdrops to follow up that Inquisitor's top, so no back-to-back. Ooh, and a new PB. I knew this was happening eventually. 444. 9 Snapdragon seeds. Alongside getting that PB, that was KC number 776, which means I've done a whopping 41 Phosani's Nightmare KC today. I think this is by far the most I've ever done in a day, and to be honest, I'm still feeling pretty good. I might squeeze out 1 or 2 more KCs, but I'm definitely getting off soon. We'll definitely continue to chip away at the KC, and based on how today has felt, I think I will try to go for 1,000. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take me. I mean, even with full Inquisitors now, we're still really getting the same KC an hour. It's just each KC feels a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I'll squeeze in a few more KCs, and then I'll do a little blood rune crafting session just to make sure I have enough blood runes to upkeep the scythe charges. We talked about this earlier, but it's actually not too many scythe charges per KC. In fact, it's probably more shadow charges than anything. And, well, in terms of upkeeping the shadow, I'm just going to have to buy chaos runes, and I still have a pretty healthy stack of soul runes sitting in the bank. Well, got my few extra KCs in. It is blood rune crafting o'clock. Okay. Okay, I didn't want to go to bed. I was actually amethyst mining after the blood rune crafting session, and I was just about to get off. But I'm gonna scroll up in the chat box here a little bit. I was like, I kind of want to do some more Phosani's Nightmare. A few more KCs wouldn't hurt, right? Well, first KC, 439, new PB. What a terrible start to a new day. My herb patch is dead, which is also my farming contract. It's just Cadentine though, we have plenty of those, so I'll replant that, I suppose. Getting geared up for more Phosanis, obviously, and it's so strange to see that we now have this number 2 on the top left corner of our Inquisitor's top. Well, I guess we're working our way towards a second set of Inquisitors. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Alright, I am just a few KCs shy of getting to 800 Phosani's KC, but spur of the moment I was gonna come to Calvarion and do a quick trip. If you guys have been following the series for a while, or if you haven't, I can just fill you in real quick. The Void Waker grind is a very sore spot for me, as I am over 4 times dry for the Void Waker blade here at Calvarion. Never mind, you know, like, the fact that Void Waker has 3 different pieces from 3 different bosses. We haven't even gone to the other 2 bosses yet because we've been stuck at Calvarion. Now, this is a very bad sign. As I'm talking here, I've hopped like 20 worlds just to find an open world. And now we can finally begin a trip. I don't plan on camping Calvarion, but for whatever reason, after probably a few months now since the last time I did Calvarion, I kind of had like an itch to come here, try my luck. I guess like maybe because my Phosani's Nightmare luck has been so good, maybe it'll transfer over here to Calvarion, right? Although, not that if we get the blade now, it's good luck, because like I said, we are over 4 times dry. But yeah, let's just see what happens, and let's see how long it takes for a PKer to show up. I don't know. It's been a few months since my last trip, so I don't know, maybe the landscape has changed. But it's definitely not a good sign that I had to hop 20 plus worlds to find an open world. At least I hit the TP. But that was a whopping maybe 10 minutes, not even. 9 minutes into a trip and a PK of a Void Waker rolled in already. That was the strangest thing I've seen. I've never seen that before in my hundreds of hours doing Calvarion now. As I was running back after that initial PK encounter, there was probably a bot. That, with the name and the look of that guy, that was probably a bot that was ahead of me, and I was like, you know what, like, this was my world, let me finish my KC, right? Let's see if he world hops or something. And then a PK logs in the corner of the graveyard, the cemetery. I've never seen that. Okay, I'm using a 2350 total level world now, which I think I should be safer, but at the same time, once somebody finds me, I'm probably not going to be able to come back. Alright, I think that's enough Calvarion for me because I spent 40 minutes just to get 20 KC and ran into 3 PKers already, so... Yep, just gonna call it there, back to Phosani's. I didn't have too much time today, and beyond that I also used what time I did have to do some hard mode top as well. It's late in the night now, and we're gonna make our way over for a few Phosani's KC. I don't know how many I'm gonna do, but we're just one away from the big 800. Here we go for the 800th KC. I know I'm unpotted right now, but surely we get it done. Don't want to repot and then waste a lot of it just going to bank and whatnot. One more scythe swing. And what are we gonna get? Soul runes. Wow, 1 KC later, 801, we get another parasitic egg. I say another because let's take a look at the collection log here. That is our 6th one in 801 KC. These things are 1 in 200, by the way. It's a brand new day now, and I already started the day off by potting some trio tops. Managed to snag myself a purple. Ooh, a purple. A purple. For me. Hope it's not a scythe for Hosen's sake. Although, a scythe would be money. A Vernic Defender hilt. Okay. Alright, wait, okay. For a second, I thought that was down to 40 mil. It's 46 mil now. Okay. Not bad, not bad. That was a Vernic number 20. Oh, and we got a Sandwich Lady. Baguette, perhaps? Oh, Baguette chance, Baguette chance. Never stale. With the top session out the way, I've geared back up in my Phosani's Nightmare setup because, well, I'm actually very much enjoying the grind now that I actually have the gear to properly do the grind. And beyond that, obviously being spooned makes the boss a whole lot more fun, seemingly. Crazy concept, I know, but okay, we're up to 814 KC now. So over the course of the last 2 days or so, I've actually done like 80 KC, which is a fair amount, honestly. I don't think I've ever done this much in this window of time. And by the end of the week, I think we'll be able to reach like over 200 KC, honestly, which means we might be able to get to that 1,000 Phosani's KC mark I talked about a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, it seemed like a far-fetched thing to do, but now it seems like it's a possible reality. But I don't know, when we get to 1,000, I'm also just going to reassess what I want to do. Right now, as I said, I'm enjoying the grind quite a bit, but I don't see myself grinding out Phosani's Nightmare for 6,000 straight KC, which is the expected number to get all 3 orbs and everything else. I just planked at Phosani's in a way which has never happened before to my knowledge, to what I can recall, and I just planked to Husk. Honestly, I blame the Inquisitors. As good as it is offensively, best in slot crush, defensively, it's as good as adamant armor. Just doing a little bit more blood rune crafting right now. I have done several stints of blood rune crafting, but I haven't really done it for like a good session, so we haven't really picked up too many blood runes. I'm going to do a good 20 to 30 minutes or so here just to make sure our stack goes up, because while we do have 26k blood runes in our bank right now, I haven't recharged my scythe yet, so a lot of those blood runes are going to disappear pretty soon. Alright, getting ready to go back to Phosani's, but before we do that, let's recharge our scythe. It still has 8,200 charges left, or just under that, but I'm going to go ahead and recharge it now just to see how many blood runes I'm left with. Alright, after charging it with 100 vials, we're now up to 18,200 charges. And we have just under 9,000 blood runes remaining. And whatever we have in the rune pouch, I guess. Yep, we still have another 16,000 in rune pouch, so we still have a healthy stack. What the... Another parasitic egg. I remember the exact KC we last got one too. 801 and now 831. We get yet another parasitic egg. Let's take a look at the collection log here. That is our 7th one. These things are 1 in 200. What is going on? Making my way over to KC 850, so we're definitely racking up the KCs now. With this setup, I'd say we're closer to 5 minutes per KC than 6 more times than not. Here we go, KC 850. What are we getting? Cosmic runes. You know, anytime I do get cosmic runes here, I do kind of appreciate it because I would otherwise have to buy them from the store. So right now we are 150 KC away from the 1000 KC mark, which is a nice little milestone that we're shooting for right now. And when we get there, I'm going to reassess what I want to do, if I want to continue doing more Phosanis or move on to another grind. So let's take a look at the collection log here, and I haven't got any drops since the second Nightmare Staff, or actually the last drop was the second Inquisitor's top. This is 8 items in total that we've seen so far. And we're not going to expect to see a 9th one until KC 1017. So assuming things are going to even out and we're going to go on rate, we may not see another item for the rest of this grind up to 1000. Although, you know, very recently we just got our 7th parasitic egg, and these things are 1 in 200, so we're well over rate on the eggs. And our log in general is just very, very lucky. Like, never mind the fact that we already have the Jar of Dreams, which is a whopping 1 in 4,000. Continuing to chip away at the KC now, and I was just thinking, honestly, with RNG and expected KC for drop and yada yada yada, all that, it really just depends on how you look at it, right? So our last drop was on KC 760. We are up to 856 now. So just quick rounded math there. That's about 90 KC or so, maybe a little less than that. So maybe we'll see another drop in like 20 something KC. We are currently working on KC 873, which is exactly 113 KC since we last pulled the second Inquisitor's top. So depending on how we look at it, maybe we should be expecting a drop. But if we're looking at it from, you know, you start from 0, well, we're not going to see a drop till 107 or 1017. But if we're trying to be greedy, now we start asking where our drop is. No unique, but prayer potions are a fairly good consolation prize. Working my way towards a mildly interesting KC number, 888. Can we get lucky and get a drop here? Let's find out. Very good scythe swings there for being unpotted. And we are getting gold ore. Okay. Today's Phosani's grind has actually been going very, very well. We started out the day at 845, and obviously we just came out at 888. So that is what, 43 KC on the day already. And knock on wood, but I think I've only died 1 time today. So that's a pretty good KD ratio. What the heck? Make it make sense. KC 890, another parasitic egg. That is number 8. Alright, here we go. We made it to KC 900, assuming the enrage phase doesn't go terribly wrong. This is a very big Phosani's Nightmare day. We've done 55 KC in a day. Obviously not very repeatable. I'm probably not going to do 55 KC every day. Even 40 is a bit of a stretch, but I am aiming to do just that on our way to 1000 KC. So 900 KC, let's see what we're going to get here. The thrall finishes the job, and let's check it out. Nature runes. Another day of picking from the whiteberry bush. Oh. Sang kit number 5, I think. Let's take a look here. Sang kit number 5. Progress has been a bit slow today. I did spend some time doing some hard mode top and got myself the 5th Sang kit, as I showed earlier, but we are only working on KC number 10 here at Phosani's. A drastic difference, complete opposite direction than what we did yesterday, where I think I ended up doing like 50 yesterday. But yeah, things are slowing down now. I'm still going to try to get to 1000. That may take a couple more days though. Well, this is not exactly what you want to see. Brand new day now, and I'm continuing the Phosani's Nightmare grind on the way to 1000 KC, as I've said before. But we started out with a plank. Actually, I think I did 1 KC before this. Yeah, I did. We're up to 936 now, but I already planked, and it was kind of painful because it was pretty late in the KC too. I was already there for like 4 or 5 minutes, so it's the absolute worst when that happens, but nevertheless, we continue. Slow and steady, but we made it all the way to 950 KC. Another 50 to go until we hit the big 1K. Again, we've been pretty lucky early in this grind, so the last 100 plus KC, 150 plus now even, we haven't seen a drop, but I really can't complain too much. Oh, I was just about to say another day, another whiteberry bush patch, but we just completed it. Anyway, starting out today, let's take a look at the collection log. We are all the way up to 970 KC, and if things go according to plan, today should be the last day for us to get to 1000. We should be hitting that today. Will we get another drop? Honestly, I feel like unlikely. We haven't seen a drop in quite some time. Again, that's just because we were lucky. We were kind of front-loaded on the drops. But we are approaching the rate for another item soon, actually. Here we go. First KC on this final day. 30 KC to go. Scythe is not hidden. Of course, we're being stingy and we're unpotted right now. But the scythe is hitting very low regardless. We'll be okay though. One more scythe swing perhaps. There we go, there we go. And we are getting Mithril Ore. Well, we are 10 KC in now. Well, after this one, just 20 more to go. Some Cosmic Runes. And now, just 10 more KC to go till the big 1000. We get some more Cosmic Runes. I feel like time has flown by today and we've been racking up the KC. I guess when you can kind of see the finish line when you're close, you get a bit of a boost in motivation. I got up to 999 KC and I got pulled away to do some hard mode tobs, and there wasn't even a purple to show for. Well, now I have returned to get one more KC, the final KC for 1000, and then I'm not done with Phosani's after 1000, but I guess I'll be done for now. Take a little bit of a break. Figure out what else I want to do on this Ironman account here, and then sometime down the line, we'll definitely return. But yeah, last one for now. Let's see what happens. Entering the enrage phase for 1000 KC. Surely I don't mess up here, right? And we just secure the KC. And wouldn't it be something if we actually got a drop? In all the KC we've done, and as lucky as we were in the beginning in the lower KCs, up to this point now we're actually back on rate, and we're gonna be due for a drop, a 9th drop at 1017. Unfortunately though, for KC 1000 we end up with 23 bass. Here is one final look at the collection log at the Nightmare, more specifically Phosani's. 1000 KC on the log. It honestly hasn't changed much between now and the second Inquisitor's top we got. I think we may have got 1 or 2 eggs, but no items. We'll see what happens in the future. But for now, I have to figure out what I want to do next. I do know that I want to take a small break from Phosanis, though.